This'll infuriate you, I should think. The Cabinet Minister, Lucy Powell, she's under mounting pressure to resign from her role as leader of the House of Commons.
It follows comments made on BBC4 Radio where she described the rape gang scandal as dog whistle. Let's have a listen.
I don't know whether you saw the documentary on Channel 4 about rape gangs over
No,
this.
we want to blow that little trumpet now, do we? Yeah, OK.
There was a real issue.
Let's get that dog whistle out, shall we?
I mean, honestly. Anyway, the Shadow Home Secretary, Chris Philp, has called on her to resign, saying her comments belittle the thousands of women and girls who've been raped by grooming gangs.
A scandal that's still going on, by the way. It is understood that whilst Downing Street were initially angry with the comments being made, they have since accepted her apology, which she put out on social media straight away. An explanation, but.
Yes, in that statement she says, in the heat of a discussion on any questions, I'd like to clarify that I regard the issue of child exploitation and grooming with the utmost seriousness. I'm sorry if that was unclear. I was challenging the political point scoring around it, not the issue itself. As a constituency MP, I've dealt with horrendous cases. This government is acting to get to the truth and deliver justice.
OK, by holding a national inquiry. Oh, no, not that bit of getting to the truth. No. Yes.
No.
You know, I saw her. I saw the interview last night, and I just got really, you know, as a woman, it's my job to get angry about this sort of thing. And she's a woman saying this, and I put out a tweet straight away saying, how can another woman dismiss the suffering of all these thousands of young girls, which is still going on, by the way. Don't be under delusion, it's not. And sort of like and make a comment like that
because she's not looking at the issue. She's not looking at the issue. She's playing politics. She's purely being political with it.
Yeah, she was.
But that's actually not good enough.
No,
I don't think.
Because she was talking to a Reform MP, wasn't she? And she's jumping on the bandwagon, right wing, racist, dog whistle, ignoring the issue at hand, which was the abuse of young girls.
Well, let's see what the broadcaster Mike Parry makes of it all. Morning, Mike. I mean,
yes, good morning.
I mean, look, we've all put our foot in it, haven't we, from time to time? Is it just a case of that?
No, I think this is very illustrative of the thinking throughout the Labour Party about the grooming gang scandal. And that is that it's been constantly suppressed. The policy, media policy, is always to completely dampen it down, not to make it look like a big issue. Lucy Powell's a very senior member of the House of Commons and the Labour Party, and the way she so dismissed the issue, get that little trumpet out, dog whistling, illustrates to me the whole thinking philosophy behind the grooming gang scandals, because we know for sure that Labour are worried that if they get too heavy with the grooming gangs and do issue instructions for individual inquiries, it will affect the way people vote. That was illustrated in the last election. Even though they won a landslide, some of their seats disappeared and others very nearly disappeared in Muslim areas where independents had stood. And remember this, it was only last week when Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, couldn't answer a question in the House of Commons about where the other 4 grooming gang local inquiries were being held. We know there's one in Rochdale. Kemi Badenoch asked him 3 or 4 times, where are the others being held? He just put his head down over his book, that book he carries around with him all the time, and he couldn't answer the question. It all illustrates that Labour do not take the grooming gang issue seriously because they know it will reflect in the polls if they seem to do the right thing being sticking up for these young white girls who've been brutalised by Muslim men.
Mike, in Lucy's defence, obviously it's a very heated political week. Labour haven't...
I don't agree, Dawn. I don't agree.
Just let me put the point across. It's a very heated political week. Lucy was probably just trying to make a political point, not really thinking through about the subject she was talking about.
Yeah. Well, in that case, she's not a very good politician, is she? You may be right in what you're saying about the way she was thinking, but Dawn, if that's the case, then that means she was ready to attack a Reform representative any Reform representative in any way she could, because Labour just taken such a terrible drubbing from Reform. In Frodsham and Helsby and around the country, mayoral victories for Reform. So maybe the word out of Labour then was, unleash the attack dogs, and any time you're up against anybody from Reform, go for their throat. But she went for the throat of this Reform person in such a terribly, well, disgusting way, in my view, to try and make out that nothing to see here about the grooming gang issue. She's made an absolute fool of herself, but she's let the cat out the bag about the broader view that Labour have internally about the grooming gang scandal and where it rates on their list of priorities as a government.
Can she stay or does she have to go?
Well, that's down to Sir Keir Starmer. But, I mean, other people have done other, pretty rotten things in the first 10 months of this Labour government, and they're still there. I see that on the front of the Sunday Times this morning, the story about Reform and then changing the syllabus possibly in schools. One of the paragraphs in that story says that Bridget Phillipson might be going in a reshuffle that Sir Keir Starmer is working on now. So if he is working on a reshuffle, Bridget Phillipson, of course, is the Education Secretary, and I dislike her enormously for attacking private schools and trying to shut them down. But if there is a reshuffle coming, then Sir Keir Starmer's got the opportunity to clear out all these people who are basically very bad for Labour in the light of the success of Reform and the popularity of Reform policies.
OK. Mike, good to see you. Thank you very much indeed. I mean, it's going to be very interesting how both the main parties respond to this huge Reform victory at the end of last week, because they're going to have to do something. They cannot ignore it if they want to win back voters.
And I think that's what Lucy was trying to do. I think Mike had a point there, that it is basically now we have to go on the attack, and every opportunity we have to do Reform down, that's what we're going to do. And I think that's what Lucy was trying to do, probably following the boss's orders, but not in the right way.
Previously, the government said the grooming scandal is one of the greatest failures in our country's history, with vulnerable people let down time and again. We fully support police investigations and independent inquiries to get answers. But as I say, the issue with the inquiries is these councils able to choose if they want to have an inquiry or not. There's no... unless there's a sort of statutory inquiry sort of thing, you can't compel people to give evidence or anything else.
No, they don't have any legal powers, and plus they're marking their own homework in lots of cases.
Yeah, which just doesn't seem right under the circumstances.
Meanwhile, it's still going on, by the way.
Yes, can't forget about that. Yeah.